A quarrel between a husband and wife. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Ephesians 4:29. It was a fine sunny day when my husband and I went out for a walk to a farm. There happened to be no one else around, and it felt good to enjoy the peaceful and quiet nature. While walking, I noticed a bird sitting far away on the ground. I suddenly remembered seeing a cuckoo from a bird book, and pointing at the bird, I said, "Wow, that's a cuckoo." Looking at the same bird, however, my husband said, "No, honey, that's a crake." I turned to him and said, "No, that's a cuckoo." And my husband, who was much taller than me, literally looked down upon me and claimed he was right, saying, "That is absolutely a crake. How can that be a cuckoo?" I couldn't lose like that, so I kept arguing that it was surely a cuckoo. Truly, it was the most trivial thing anyone could fight over, but it happened. I thought I should push ahead with my argument until I win. He must also have thought that this squabble was a pride issue because he refused to let me win. We were getting riled up and even began to bring up some past situations. We stopped walking and the quarrel went into full swing right in the middle of the rice field. Both my husband and I were so eager to pour out what was on our mind that we simply yelled and yelled without caring to listen to what the other had to say or whether the other was even listening. That's when the voice of the Lord flashed through my mind like lightning. Stop now. So what if it is a cuckoo or a crake? What does it have to do with redemption? The moment I realized it was Jesus talking to me, I did a double take. Yet, my feelings were already too hurt. I was left only with a desire to disregard everything, release all my emotions, and win the argument now. My mind had turned into a battlefield, and it seemed very difficult to calm down. The voice of the Lord was ever so clear, yet my sinful nature was raging. Once again, his voice rang clearly in my mind. If you don't stop now, you will be filled with regret later, after you have calmed down. You will be tormented by feeling of guilt for having said hurtful things. You will also have to suffer a cold, distant relationship with your husband. Hold back for just 5 minutes, and you won't have to go through a week or 10-day long Cold War. Quit arguing now. While still debating on what to do, I kept shooting out at him, criticizing his weaknesses. My husband was just as good as me at pointing out my faults and flaws. I struggled so much between my ego, which wanted to go on to the end, and the voice of the Lord telling me to stop now. It is very difficult to decide to choose God in moments like this, for the battle against myself is ever so fierce. What should I do? In the end, I decided that I should no longer disobey God. All right, I shall stop here. I shall obey Jesus. As I made up my mind with all my might, I silently cried out, "Jesus, Jesus," in order to calm myself down. Although I was still extremely heated like a hot car engine, I just said flat out to him, "Honey, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. It's my fault." It was so hard and overwhelming that tears welled up. The moment I apologized, the anger in me disappeared. I no longer stood there but began to walk toward home. Tears flew down my face as I regretted for having failed to control my feelings and argued with him. It was frustrating and upsetting that I had lost the battle against myself. My husband and I walked for a while without a word, until he put his arm around me and said, "I'm sorry." I held his hand and said again, "No, you are a very important and precious person to me, and I shouldn't have said such things to you. I'm sorry." "That's okay. I'm sorry too for saying hurtful things to you." While we were walking separately on our way out, we came back in each other's arms. I thought that, if it wasn't for Jesus, it would have been impossible to make peace so simply and quickly. Thanks to his power, we were able to quickly end the fight and reconcile.